Now, we've gone onto my phone now because I actually take my phone in to do the training rather than my iPad. I've got no data on my iPad to show you. The next button along the bottom here, this one here, next to training, is a really good one called Timeline. And it just gives you all your training sessions you've done, etc. So I can just go in this to show you what a session would look like. And I'm going to tap in the squats here. And this is the last squat session I did. So this will show immediately after a set. But notice you get two choices at the top. So that you tap analytics or summary. I would recommend analytics. That'll show you every rep. This is what summary shows you. Sometimes I just don't want to play. There it is. Okay, so summary gives you that data after a set. So the average of all my reps, the 6 reps with 165 was 0.45. Well, whoop-de-doo. What I really want to know is how each rep went. So I recommend putting on analytics. So tap that again so it plays properly. My phone doesn't play well with others. There, okay. So there I have the reps. You'll see no data except bar graphs. What I have to do is touch each bar graph, then I'll see my data. So on that first repetition, you'll notice the peak velocity was the best 5 milliseconds within that rep was 0.73 meters per second, but the average across the entire rep, on that first rep, was 0.54. So that's from the bottom coming out of the hole of the squat to a lockout. Whereas a 0.73 could have been just as you explode out of the hole. So there's the first rep, second rep, third rep, fourth rep, fifth, and sixth. And 0.36 is still saying on a squat, for my example, my 1RM squat speed's in the low to mid 2s. So I'm probably 2 or 3 reps away from busting my ass there. So I'm probably about just low 80%. So that is one rep, that is one set. You can just see how you get the data. If I want to look at power, and power is in the blue, I'll just go there. There's all the sets I did for that workout. And that's velocity in green. So I've got, there's the power output, both again, peak power and average. Now, if I want a more detailed look at the set before, I'll go back to session summary and have a look at that previous set of 160. So you can see the last rep on the 160 was 0.43. Again, number of reps in from fatigue, the first one there. So timeline allows you to look, is a powerful thing, allows you to look at all different reps and sets that you've done in that workout for both velocity or power. So just back into session summary. So it's really good like that. So tap into the next exercise. Okay, let's look at my Romanian deadlifts. Here's the third set. I tend to be always better on the second rep in Romanian deadlifts. Slightly better than the first. Okay, so peak velocity there, 0.67, average velocity 0.67, and the peak is 1 meter. Again, if I want to look at all three, see that the second set was better than the first, so a bit fatigued from those squats, and the third set was better than the second. And that's a typical data thing. Again, though, if I want to look at this first set by itself in isolation, and see, yeah, that's not a real good set. My best one is 0.59 and so forth. I can look at that one in isolation, or again, I can go back and look at all 3 sets together. So that's a simple way to keep track of your data during the session or after the session. And I finished after the session, I come and put it into a spreadsheet with my training data, my sets, reps, RPE, estimated percentage of 1RM, and I put in the best velocity on each set on these key barbell exercises. You can also, if you want, put in the worst or last rep, but I just keep track of the best one. But what you can do as you're doing a set, if I go back into the squats, by looking at this last rep and knowing what your fatigue rep speed is, you'll know how far from fatigue is. So I know that my 1 RM and third rep of a 3 RM speed is 0.25 meters per second. So I know I'm a couple of reps away from it at 0.36. Normally 0.36 is maybe the first rep of my 3 RM or something like that. So I know I've got 2 more reps in me. Again, if I go back, to set before, 160, 0.43, yeah. That means I've got probably 4 or 5 reps left in me. So you can look at that during the training session, say, yeah, I know where I am in relation to my fatigue level. So as long as you go to any RM level, that's a 1 or 3 or 5 RM, that last or worst rep will give you your fatigue level speed for that exercise. It's different for different exercises and for different people. So in bench press, it's normally around 0.19, 0.2, 0.22. The more explosive you are, it could be 0.25, 0.26. If you're a grinder, it might be 0.15, 0.16. But squats are higher speed, is 0.25 to 0.32 or something like that. Okay, so that's the basic stuff about how to use the push.